Class, I did an example 4-5B, completing the accounting cycle. So I took these journal entries and I actually put them in the document that you all have. So here's what it looks like right now. So I went through and did the journal entries for each one, and I'll attach this document as well. So here are all those journal entries, and I'll go ahead and start doing the ledger next. Okay, so I did the general ledger for cash and accounts receivable and for supplies. So that's what it looks like. I went through, that took me about 15 minutes to do, so it does take a lot of time. I also did the general ledger for prepaid rent, prepaid insurance, office equipment, and accumulated depreciation, and these are the values. Okay, I also completed the general ledger for accounts payable, salaries payable, unearned fees, common stock, and retained earnings. So here's what it looks like. You can pause this video if you need to. This did take me another 10 minutes to do, so it is time intensive. Next, I did the general journal for dividends, fees earned, salaries expenses, and supplies expenses. Those are the values. This is just the example, and keep in mind this is 4-5B. You guys are required to do 4-5A. And as you can tell right here, notice it says closing. These are the closing entries that we're talking about. 64,500. The closing right here is 3575, and the closing on this one is 2800. So this chapter was about closing these accounts out, and these will actually close out. Fees earned close out to the income statement. Salaries expense closes out to the income statement. All expenses close out to the income statement. And finally, I did rent expense, depreciation expense, insurance expense, miscellaneous expense. Keep in mind, these closing entries always close out to the income statement, like I said before. So here are the examples of closing those out. As you can tell right here, it says 30th closing, so we close that out, okay? Next, I'll do an unadjusted trial balance right down here, okay? Okay, so here's the unadjusted trial balance. I went through and went to all these accounts, cash, all the way down to, let's see, salary expenses, and I put those totals in, and all of those totals came from the general ledger. So those are my balances. Keep in mind, I haven't done my adjustments yet, so those adjustments will be next. So 118,500 equals 118,500 down here at the bottom. So this is unadjusted trial balance. And this again took some time because I had to go back and referencing each of the general journal, the cash account 11. I didn't put those numbers in there, those listings and stuff, whatnot. I just did the actual totals. Okay, so I took these insurance, supplies, depreciation, accrued. I already posted those journals already, or those journal entries, and also recorded them on the general ledger. So I'm looking at number 5 here, and what I did was I went through on this expanded, and I put those adjustments on there: 2,800, 2,000, 350, 400, 275, 750, 7050, 7050. So I put these in there, and that's what these are right here. These are these adjustments, okay? So that's what it would look like for the adjustments. Okay, so I just got done completing the adjusted trial balance, and what I did with this one was I took this value right here, 4530. There were no adjustments, so it stays 43,535. Same with the accounts receivable. Supplies here was 4,023. I minus 2,800, so it took it to 1,225. 6,000, I deducted 2,000, now it's 4,000. 4,200 minus 350 takes us to 3,850. Nothing happened with office equipment, accumulated depreciation added up. Nothing happened with accounts payable. There is a salaries payable of 275 at 275. Our unearned fees was a credit balance. Now we debited it for 70.50 and it went down to 23.5. So I did that with all of these accounts. Now they do balance right here. 119,175, 119,175. So keep in mind here, if you do make a mistake here, let's say I put 1,800. you'll get a little red dot there, and a red dot here. That means you got it wrong. So if you get a red dot, that means you put the wrong number in. So double check it, and it'll automatically give you update if you got it wrong. So next I'll do the income statement. All right, so I did the income statement. All I did was bring over the revenues and expenses over, and then these totals add up to 10,775. The revenue is 64,550. So in here I hit equals. This minus this gives us our net income of 53,775. Now, to keep this in balance, I had to add these two up right here to get this value, and then these two added up here equals this, so they still balance right here. So that's the income statement. So on the balance sheet, I brought these totals over here over. This just comes over here. All these assets, they just come over. Also our liabilities, I think this is our retained earnings, and then our dividends and our retained earnings as well. Okay, so next I went through and I totaled this column right here, 108,400. I also totaled this column as well, and I got 54,625. Now this value is our net income, so I just value net income there. So then I added those up vertically, 108,400. 108,400. So our balance sheet balances. So we are doing good. So I'm looking at number 6 there, journalize and post the adjusting entries, record the adjusting entries on page 3 of the journal. So right here are the entries, adjusting entries, and those are the values. Keep in mind, this is for 4-5B. Next, I'll do number 7. It says prepare an adjusted trial balance. So I went through and prepared the adjusted trial balance. Here's what it would look like. 119,175, 119,175, so it does balance. Then next, let's prepare an income statement and statement of owner equity and a balance sheet. So here's number 8 right there. Here's our income statement, and next I'll do the statement of owner's equity. Here's the statement of owner's equity right there. And right below is the balance sheet. Okay, there it is. Next, we'll look at number 9, prepare a post-closing entries. Record the closing entries on page 4 of the journal. Indicate closing accounts by inserting a line in both a balance column opposite the closing entry. So here's what that looks like. So fees earned 64,550. All of our expenses and retained earnings, those are listed right here. And then our retained earnings to dividends right here. So that's item number 9. And the last requirement says prepare a post-closing trial balance. So I prepared that post-closing trial balance. 43, all of these totals for cash, accounts receivable, supplies, prepaid rent, prepaid insurance, office equipment, and accumulated depreciation starts, account payable, salaries payable, unearned fees, common stock, retained earnings, and then those are the totals right there. So it's a quite an extensive homework assignment, but that goes through the entire process. So, and I did attach the Excel document for you to fill in and complete. And don't forget, if you do one wrong, it'll give you a red dot to the right of the cell. So I know that's a lot of work. So hopefully you, if you have any questions, feel free to email. Thank you. Have a good day.